Good evening, dear friends from Lighting the Shire Spiritist Group. I hope you're well and welcome to another therapeutic meeting live with us at Lighting the Shire. It's a pleasure to be here with you all, and I hope whoever is connecting right now with us that you feel blessed and you feel this love and this light surrounding you. So, before we start our therapeutic meeting, I'd just like to take us through a quick harmonization. So, if you are tuned in right now, let's do that together. So, I will invite you to close your eyes and take a deep breath with me. And as we feel this air coming through our lungs, we feel this energy of peace and love and serenity surrounding us, bringing us to this balance. We acknowledge and feel the presence of our spiritual mentors, the protectors from Lighting the Shire Spiritist Group, the light workers that are working for the peace and the balance of the whole of this country that welcomes us, Australia. We also acknowledge and say our greetings respectfully to the traditional custodians of this land where we're transmitting this therapeutic meeting, the Darwal people from the Sutherland Shire, and we pay our respects to anyone from an Aboriginal descent in generations past, present, and emerging. And with this peace and love in our hearts, we will then connect and start a therapeutic meeting tonight. May this peace stay with us. So, thank you, friends, for being with us and welcome once again. So, tonight we will be going through this therapeutic talk called Healing Through Friendships, Why Relationships Matter. So, I'll just add the banner here so we can remember. And so just to begin, I will share some slides. So just pardon with me 1 second as I will just get that up. And thank you again for tuning in. If you're joining us live or if this transmission, if you're listening to it later on, welcome again and thank you for being with us. We hope you find the topic enlightening. We understand that a lot of people might be feeling lonely at the moment, so we want to acknowledge that as well. And what we're going to try to cover here is some of those known facts around how can we observe those relationships we've got with friends and how to understand that from a spiritist perspective as well. So from a spiritual perspective, we know that our bonds in one lifetime can come way before we are all born. So it explains a lot of those affinities that we feel with people and why I guess we can bond so much sometimes with people that we're just friends with, whilst we might have challenges with people we are related with. So that's just one of the topics we're going to cover. But if any of the conversations here today is a trigger for you, we more than welcome you to send us a message and we can have a chat as well. That's how we create friendships as well, isn't it? So just add the slides here to stay to the stage. So we'll cover how friendships and relationships can help us heal. So I just got a passage from the Spiritist Review, the Journal of Psychological Studies in June 1863, that enlightens friendship from a Spiritist perspective. So it does say that the principle of friendship is nothing more than the equity and unity of tendencies and feelings. So true friendship only exists between virtuous people united under the protection of the Almighty to encounter the protection and the support that they need to accomplish their duties during a lifetime. So that's the spiritist interpretation of friendship. So spirits that are united through true bonds of love, and that want to support each other, either because they are, you know, they have some affinity, or because they might just for some reason feel entitled to help. If they can, why not? So that explains, I guess, how those bonds that we might have with people we are not related to can feel really strong. So that union of virtuous people that want to truly help each other really is the meaning of friendship from that spiritist perspective. So we understand that our spiritual bonds of love will remain with us past this life. So the matter that limits our senses and the physical relations we've got at the moment, they're temporary, we know. But like we were just discussing before, meaningful relationships will be with us for the rest of our existence as spirits. And in Spiritism, we learn that we are eternal spirits. So I got an extract from the Spirit's book, question 205, for us to understand a bit more about that. So it says here, the idea that present relationships are based on prior affections makes the bonds between members of the same family less precarious. It makes the duties of brotherhood even more crucial, because your neighbor or your servant may be the incarnation of a spirit who was formerly related to you by blood. So we know that those strong bonds of love, those spiritual bonds that we feel with people that are our friends, might come from that relationship that we had with that spirit in a previous life. So we can be in different social statuses, in different regions, but we feel this affinity explained by that duty that we had to one another, and any investment that we make into helping our friends, to helping people that we love, will stay with us for eternity. So that's also something that can give us a bit of consolation, I guess, when we are feeling potentially lonely or misunderstood by people around us. There's always someone who loves us, who might be in the spiritual world temporarily, that we might cross paths with again for sure. It's just a matter of time. So we're never alone. And that's something that we try to remind everybody as well, which consoles us and helps us feel more protected, maybe, and braver facing the difficulties that we've got. Um, yeah. So, and from a scientific perspective, I think I wanted to include here, why do we become attracted to people? And there are studies and there are philosophers that discuss this for a long time. So, according to Aristotle, we are social animals with a need to belong and connect to others. So, we all have this need to belong to a group and to have social connections. It is a natural thing for human beings. So we were not designed to live in isolation. And this is where we see a lot of loneliness and suffering at the moment, because people are behind screens and are not, I guess, conveying those social connections the same way that we used to. So it's becoming quite obvious to us that there's some issues in how we are relating to one another in our contemporary society, and there's a lot of reflections we can make around that. Attachment, having mutual attachments enable group survival. So attachment has been a matter of survival for us. That's why we bond, with our mother, with our father in our infant development, and that's why there is that element of oxytocin release between people when they're keen, but we also have the same thing with friends. And we can have the same oxytocin release, the happy hormone, when we are amongst friends and talking and doing things with people that we love. So relationships consume much of our lives. So that's a study that was from Mel and Penn Baker, 2003, that observed, I guess, how much of our lives was around the social connection factors to, I guess, enhance the importance of it all. And actual and hoped relationships can dominate our thinking and emotions. And that's our day to day, right? Like we are either thinking about how we're relating to maybe someone at work, um, our family relationships, our personal relationships with friends. It is part of who we are. So that's why we are um, built, I guess, in our physicality to be attracted to one another. And why are relationships important? So there were a number of studies investigating the importance of relationships. So the study from King 2008 is one that we were, 2018 is the findings that we're going to be investigating a little bit on this slide. So relationships play an important part of our physical health. So we will see later on as well in this talk a little bit about the loneliness issue, social issue, and how much it is impacting people negatively. So the second finding in this research was there are three key ways that relationships influence our physical and psychological well-being. Relationships can have a direct positive impact on us. So by, having someone that can cheer with us, that can be with us when we need support, will help our mental health. Relationships can be a source of support that we can draw upon in difficult times, like I just mentioned, knowing that there's someone there for us, and through the contagion of happiness and health on our social networks. So this is known in psychology, in positive psychology, as the ripple effect. So basically, this ripple effect explains that the happier we are, the happier we'll have people around us. So the same study here from King 2016 says that when we are happy, we have 15.3 more chances to have a happy friend as well. And this happy friend can influence us the same way to be at least 15.3% happier. If our friend is happy and they have a friend who's happy as well, then it's already increasing us in another close to 10% chances of being happy. And if we have our friend's friend, happy friend, we are already again including another 5.6% chances that we are happy. So this just means that the more we are helping people achieve happiness, and the happier we are contributing to happiness in general. And that's the positive effect of relationships in our lives. So from a basic needs perspective, friendships are important. So when we're looking at our human needs and the priorities of our needs as humans, it starts for us, happiness or let's say self-actualization being the happiest we can be, right? So that pyramid, the base of it, according to psychology, is our physiological needs need to be met. So we need to, be fed, have a roof over our heads. We have those basic physical needs. Then we've got safety needs. So we need to feel safe. We need to have employment, resources. We need to have resources to look after our health, so we feel safe, and potentially property, etc. And then in the middle of this pyramid, there's love and belonging. So that's the element that we were talking about before, how we're social beings and we need to love and belong. So everybody wants to belong to a group, wants to be part of something. So that sense of connection, family, friendship, intimacy, it's all part of our needs as humans. And then it comes our esteem and our self-actualization. So this was based off Maslow's study, so the hierarchy of needs, of human needs. But it's very relevant to what we're talking about here, because without friendships and social connections, that love and belonging element of our needs are not met. So another study here from Lopez et al., 2015. Everything starts with our attachment in our childhood. And then we develop adult attachment styles and potentially love, and we can have flourishing relationships. And relationships of love, when we're talking about here, is friendships, and we can be friends, and we should be friends with our partners as well. So the four things that make our relationships flourish are a combination of positive emotions, savoring, so living in the moment, enjoying each other's company, etc. The strengths, highlighting each other's strengths, and having passion. So similar passions as well, right? So that was the scientific, psychological perspective. Now, according to Spiritism, why are relationships important? So, through friendships and the creation of this true love between spirits, we know that we can learn and we can teach and support one another from both sides of life. So, like I was saying before, even when we're feeling the most, in brackets, lonely, we're not lonely. We're absolutely never alone, because we have at least one friend, our spiritual mentor, that has been assigned to be with us for the whole of our existence. So we know that in the spiritual realm, whenever someone is reincarnating, they align a spirit who knows that person very well. And these spirits become our guides, because they know as well. So they're the ones that are whispering good things in our ears, that are supporting us, and they do love us. So they are amazing friends. Um, and it's important to also continue developing those bonds of friendship. So that means it requires a level of openness from us, and seeing beyond just the um, blood relations, I guess. So sometimes, yeah, we know our family relationships can prove very challenging. We understand in Spiritism as well, through the teachings, that there's a reason behind it. We have to kind of learn to love the family that we have. And through that opportunity, that's where we have a lot of those challenges set up for us in a lifetime. Like we might be a mother or a daughter or a sister of someone who we might have had trouble with in a previous life. And we have the opportunity to balance out that relationship. So as we are balancing our actions in the past, according to the spiritual law, the natural law, it is through friends who understand and support us that we can truly heal those wounds. And sometimes, yeah, friends might give us the opportunity to feel the love and understanding that we couldn't have in our family. So that unconditional support and love can come to us in that form of friendship. And that's why those relationships of friendship are so important. So now talking about loneliness, that would be the lack of friendship, the lack of those connections. Just in Australia alone, in 2022, 1 in 6, or 16% of the population of Australia, in 2022, and 1 in 17 one in five, sorry, 17% of males, 15% of females aged between 15 and 24 years old reported they were experiencing loneliness. So this is data that was from 2022, published in 2024 from the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare. So there's a younger generation out there who are extremely lonely, even though they've got all the technological facilities, I guess, available to them. So it's something to really, really look into. And we understand how much the bonds of friendship, true friendships, can really help us through those difficult years. Our late teens and our early adulthood is much better lived when we have friends around us. So loneliness has actually become a health priority for the World Health Organization, because loneliness does not discriminate. You can be young, you can be older. There has been reports across all genders and across all age groups and across all demographics, wealthy or poor. But of course, people in regional and remote areas have a lot of challenges with connecting with others because they might have limits in the resources that are available to them. But the World Health Organization has recognized that this is a public health priority, and they're trying to work it out. I think the Australian government is trying to find a budget for it, but we wanted to cover as well things that we can think about in terms of, the other opposite of this. Like, if we're lacking friendships and relationships that support us, what does life look like? So connecting and healing is available through our friendships. And this report that was published is called Ending Loneliness Together. And just to highlight some of the correlations there, Australians with that report of being lonely are 4 times more likely to have a chronic disease, 4.6 times more likely to have depression, 4.1 times more likely to have social anxiety, and 5.2 times more likely to have poorer well-being. So our spiritual need and our physical, mental, emotional well-being needs to connect and heal from our past traumas, from things that are we're living with challenges, I guess. Everyone has the challenges, is extremely important. And from that spiritual and also that physical and emotional perspective, we can see how important it is to connect with others who can help us balance things that we might not be so good at, or that can shed some love and understanding in times that we need. So there's some practical tips for us, because a lot of people say, I'm lonely, I don't have any friends. But are they putting their skills to the service of others? Maybe not, because when we are, what we give, we receive 10 times more. So in Spiritism, we learn that being of service is extremely important, that all the talents that were given to us, all the gifts that we've got, we need to put them to action. We don't have talents and gifts just to keep them to ourselves. So developing this habit of doing things out of the benefit of others and not just thinking of our self benefits is very important. Finding people that are like-minded, people that might have similar interests, be them, things that are around our profession or hobbies, or people that just, for example, like to study spiritual matters, or, that like walking in the bush. There's absolutely many, many groups out there that we just need to learn to seek for and connect. And also, there's an opportunity to sometimes reconnect and rekindle friendships that might have been left aside. So we all have those friends that we love so much, and sometimes we might have spent years and years apart, and when we reconnect with them, it feels like yesterday that we were together, because those are very, very true bonds of friendship, of love. And all it takes is someone to reach out. So why not reconnect? So to end this talk, I'm just going to read this reflection from Joanna De Angelis on this message called Friendship in Action. Sometimes it is good to stop for a few minutes and think about the action of friendship in our lives. Friendship is the feeling that joins the souls of some people to others, generating happiness and well being. Friendship is a tender expression of human beings who need to interchange the strength of emotion under the motivation of fraternal understanding. Inspiring courage and self denial, the friendship blooms the souls, blessing them with endurance for their battles. In the contemporary world, there is such lack of friendship. Selfishness drives people apart and isolates them. Friendship ties them close together in brotherhood. Fear strikes souls and makes them unhappy. Friendship brings peace and cheers persons. Distrust brings disharmony to lives, but friendship equilibrates minds, sweetening the hearts. Talking about deep love, the presence of friendship is essential. It is born from an expression of sympathy, and it becomes solid with the roots of safe and sound affection dug into the earth of souls. When other emotions get weak with the swing of misunderstandings, friendships lasts devoted companionship of people who care for each other. If friendship disappeared from earth, the spiritual life of mankind would fall apart. Friendship is sweet and patient, attentive and active. Careful, it fades away so that one for whom we feel affection can shine. It sustains during weak moments and frees at painful moments. Friendship is easy to be encouraged. To cultivate it is the duty of all of those who reflect and have aspirations. Therefore, no one is successful having bitterness in one's soul or being indifferent to the delight of the flow of friendship. When in a couple, sexual impulses fade, friendship remains. When delusion wipes away the fire of desire of big romances, if there is still friendship, the bond of the union does not break. There is a way to cultivate friendship and build understanding. As it happens to the wheat in the spiritual field of love, it will not be possible to harvest without sowing. Therefore, examine every day your effective farming. Irrigate it with the water of sincerity, of forgiveness, of attention, never forgetting to season it with love, tenderness, and affection. Imitate the prudent and devoted farmer, and you'll be harvesting big and precious results. So, this was a beautiful, beautiful message from the book Moments of Hope by the Spirit Joanna De Angelis, channeled by Divaldo Pereira Franco. And I hope you have learned a little bit more about friendship and the importance of these relationships. And like Joanna De Angelis said, we need to cultivate them, so we need to give attention to receive attention. We need to forgive people's mistakes to be forgiven. We need to give our love to be loved. So I hope we can all reflect on this topic and remind ourselves of the importance of our relationships and how these true bonds of friendship and love go way beyond this lifetime. So I hope we can all continue to reflect on the topic throughout this month. And we will finish with our healing harmonization. But yeah, we look forward to seeing you at the end of November, the last Tuesday of November, for our next therapeutic meeting online. Same time, same place. And yeah, I hope you can have a blissful month ahead. So on the 26th of November, same time, we'll have our next therapeutic meeting. So if you'd like to join me on a quick visualization, we will emanate light, peace, and love to all the people around us. Let's feel our whole planet surrounded by love, by light, and the benevolence and friendship and love of our good protectors, the spiritual protectors that are working with us in this planet. May this love and light that they emanate to our hearts fill them with strength to continue living in connection with the good, with the divine creation. And may this light and love also bless our homes, the homes of our loved ones, and everyone who is connected to us in this life. May this peace, light, and love stay with us during this month ahead. Thank you so much, friends. Look forward to seeing you next month. And thank you again for your engagement here. Take care. Peace be with you.